Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of my podcast. It's a privilege today to have Mr. Deep Bajaj with me. As all of you know, he's the co-founder of Sirona, one of the biggest femtech and female hygiene brands in India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, Prasan. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for giving me your valuable time, sir. So I'd like to start off
Can you
with
call
the
me
question.
Deep?
Okay, so
Yeah. Because I'll also call you sir then.
okay, Deep.
So,
Are
sir.
you sure?
So,
I feel
sir.
weird calling you. I feel weird calling you.
You
Deep.
can call me Deep or I'll call you sir. So you pick.
Can I call you sir? You call me Prasan.
Can I call you Prasan sir?
Sure.
Okay, Prasan sir, go ahead.
Okay, so sir, before Sirona, what market were you exploring? What industry were you in? Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, sir. So I started with events 2006 till 2010. Got into handmade carpets with my wife. She's a carpet designer.
Right.
That was happened for 4 years after that.
Right.
14 to 16, I was trying many things. And the idea for P-Buddy, our first product,
Yeah.
came in 2013. After
Yeah.
this, I think it took me a few years to fully commit to it because I had committed to a few other things. And I decided to get out of everything else and just solve unaddressed female hygiene issues with P-Buddy. That's what it started with.
Yeah.
And then Sirona came into being.
Yeah. So what caused this, change? Because these are two very different markets. So from a luxury rug company to a female hygiene brand, it's a very big change. So, what triggered that change?
If I can be honest with you, I think it was just serendipity. It wasn't planned
Right.
like that. My life has been one thing has led to another.
Yeah.
So I did my master's in Australia.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Before that, I met a friend with whom I had made a promise that I'll come back to India and start events. So events was going on. So 2010, when I moved out of events, carpets happened just because in events I wanted to create event IP, but I think we were not able to do something which I really wanted to create. So I thought I'll be better off trying to pursue it somewhere else. So carpet fell in my lap just with serendipity. I got married and my wife, her family was into carpet exports.
Okay.
So there was one discussion around starting, she thought she'd take up a job, but I was already doing well at events.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I told her, why take up a job, might as well do something of her own. And from there, carpets started. And because I exited events, carpet was de facto the first job that was offered to me.
Yeah.
So I became the de facto telecaller for her. So one thing led to another.
Of course.
And from there, I think few years of just exploring different things.
Yeah.
I tried my hands at a holiday home project. I tried my hand at home healthcare and some other things, only to realize that this female hygiene as a category is something that resonated fairly personally and professionally both. So professionally, because I was into events, so when I used to do these concerts, you must be also going to so many events and concerts. It becomes very difficult to keep the portable toilets clean.
Yeah.
So I had seen that. Personally, we had one miscarriage before our first daughter was born. So I had seen how UTI can be such a spoiler for women. And my mother had arthritis in her knees.
Okay.
So all of this was personal, professional sort of a mix. So when the idea for P-Buddy was born, I was like, what the heck, let's try it.
Yeah.
And
So P-Buddy kind of revolutionized the whole, it changed the course of the female hygiene market. So, when you first launched this product, what was the, feedback you received from many people? Because especially as a man in India launching these intimate female hygiene products, you could receive a lot of negative or positive feedback because there's a massive taboo around these intimate female hygiene products, and especially as a man, you're building such a big brand around these. So what was the feedback you received from the market?
So, it's funny because how I looked at it was very different. For me, it was never about a man trying to sell anything for women. It was just a sales guy trying to sell a different product this time.
Of course.
When I was selling events, it was a man trying to sell events or somebody trying to sell events.
Yeah.
When I moved to carpets, it was somebody trying to sell carpets in a different way. And when it came to this category also, what I realized was that, I mean, the problem is so deep that unless we talk about it,
Yeah.
the taboo around it will not go away.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, when the whole journey had started for me, all this taboo, etc., didn't exist. I just thought, I spoke to so many women, and all of them just loved the idea, because before that, the only solution was, you would wipe the seat, or you hover, or you squat over
Exactly.
seats. You don't touch the toilet
Exactly.
seats if they're unknown. And during pregnancy and arthritis, even a clean seat, doesn't follow. Give you the solution. So consumers were very upbeat about it.
Right.
I think retailers had a different view to it, because they thought it was a gag product. They thought it was a joke. So many of them didn't take it that seriously. I also remember a couple of coverages going viral, and all the English coverages got us a lot of good positive compliments.
Of course.
But the Hindi coverage, I think I love to say this, that I'm a Delhi Punjabi boy, and I think there are no cuss words that I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? It just comes to you, right?
Yeah.
So, but that Facebook coverage in 2014, I think 14-15, BBC had done a Hindi coverage.
Okay.
On Peabody helping women stand in P in Hindi.
Yeah,
so you can understand how they wrote it, right?
Of course.
So a lot of men had such interesting words to say, but I think the context was that, this is against Indian tradition, Indian culture.
I feel like especially in the Indian market, it's
Yeah.
really tough to break these taboos.
Correct.
Because of how backward minded a lot of these Indian men especially are.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So I think, but honestly, I think the more that sort of so-called cynicism came our way, there were more consumers willing to, just accept the products with open arms. Because first was Peabody, which helps women stand in pee.
Yeah.
And from there, our second and third products were, we came up with India's first herbal period pain relief patch.
Yeah. Yeah.
For menstrual cramps, because the only solutions were hot water bottle or painkillers. Then it was disposal bags for clean and hygienic, disposal of sanitary products. So consumers saw that there was this team who's trying to come up with, problems that nobody else is talking about. They'll be coming up with solutions for problems that nobody else was talking about. So they kept us going, and touchwood, that became enough, motivation for us to keep at it. So yeah, I think they're cynics and they're critics everywhere. And I always say that, I'm all for constructive criticism. So if you have opinion about me, please share it openly and I'll listen. But it has to be constructive.
Yes.
So criticism which is constructive is welcome.
Of course.
But an opinion for the sake of opinion is something that we ignored. So
I agree.
Just went ahead. We kept tango on.
So would you say you're bigger in the offline market or the online market?
So we are good in online market.
Yeah.
Because consumers, the consumers we talk to, they're consuming a lot of content online.
Right.
And when you look at a solution like this, because if you see the list of problems that we've solved, starts from puberty and it goes till menopause. And that's the spectrum within which we say that Indian women for decades have suffered from these neglected, issues, and we'd like to solve them.
Yeah.
And today, because it's a taboo topic, it's not something that is openly discussed on dinner tables, right? While you can discuss very openly that you have a headache. If somebody has a period, I don't know how many households are openly discussing this, right?
Of course.
So she goes and she depends online for her solutions. She discusses with her peers. So we realized after trying to sell offline for the first few years, that online is where the consumer is, and that's where we over-indexed our efforts on. So for most of our products, we are online bestsellers.
Of course, yeah. So sir, a couple of years back, as we know, you sold Sirona,
Yes,
and
sir.
very recently this year, you bought it back. So can you tell us about your buyback, why you sold Sirona, why you bought it back, what was your attachment to the brand that made you come back? Because usually, as we see in the startup space, people build companies, they sell them, and then they move on to the next, build them, sell them. It's a whole cycle. So what made you come back to Sirona?
Well, I think there was some unfinished business still left, but if I could give a smart answer, which I don't have, it would be this, that when we sold, the reason was, I believe there are 4 pillars to any business, at least the way I slice and dice it. One is consumer, one is the team, one is your investors, and fourth is you, right? Let's say these are the 4 spheres. So in 2021, when the Good Glam deal came our way, we were doing, I think, 40-50 crores in revenues. We were pretty much bestsellers in all or most of the categories that at least we introduced. So right from toilets to stand in pee, of course, India's first, we had a design patent, toilet seat covers and toilet deodorizers. You come to periods, we were doing very well menstrual cups, which was almost the other end of the pads.
Right.
So we were challengers in the category, but we were best sellers. We were doing very well with a few other products like panty liners and tampons with applicators.
Right.
In hair removal, we were doing well in our razors. We had acquired 2 brands, one in women's safety called Empower, which also did well, and one in sexual wellness category for women called Blue, which is India's first 100% vegan condom brand.
Oh wow.
So we were doing all this, and it was doing well across the board. But we were not offline. So when the deal came in, I thought it would be very interesting because for the 4 quadrants, all 4 would gain with this. First is consumer. So if I'm really honest to my calling in life, and I really want more and more women to benefit from our solutions, we have to go offline.
Yeah.
Right? Do we have the chops for that category? No, we don't. So we thought it'll be good for the consumer because from all online, we'll go online and offline.
Yeah.
Because the company that we were talking to, or eventually the company that we sold to Good Glam, had very strong offline presence. Second, if you look at the team, I thought, from a small company of 40-50 crore revenue maybe, they will go to a unicorn. And back then, Good Glam had become a unicorn already. So I thought even their career trajectory would be very interesting. Third, investors, most of our investors were making anywhere between 6 times to 20 times on their returns. And the minute you raise funding, sir, you'll realize that you're on a treadmill. You're supposed to, it's your duty to return that capital and grow that capital and return it. So I was getting an opportunity to grow money and return it multifolds. So that was also a tick.
Yeah.
And fourth was the fact that, as founders, we were of course going to make a little bit money so my family our families would live better lives right now. And also I think I somehow by then had this realization that I'm a good 0 to 1 operator.
Yeah.
I'm a borderline good 1 to 10 operator, but 10 to 100 is not my strong suit. I get bored.
Yeah.
And company had reached a level where I thought online I've done the best. I can at best 2x, 3x it.
Yeah.
So the deal was such that you run the company for another 2 years, grow the business, and then you exit. By then you would have, by then my 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 would be complete. I wanted to get a 100-150 crore revenue company. Touch wood, I would have done it. So it ticked all the boxes. That's the reason why I decided to exit the business.
Yeah.
Over the next 2 years, we scaled the business. Of course, some figures are publicly available.
Yeah.
So we did whatever from for that 45 crores to 70 to almost 150 was the run rate when I exited.
Yeah.
So we'd done all that, and I decided to move on because I thought the company was in able hands.
Of course.
The reason of buying back was things changed, at Good Glam's end. And unfortunately, they decided to divest all the businesses which wasn't their core.
Yeah.
And when I learned about it, I thought in the same quadrant because of their challenges. Brands started to come down a little, because they were not able to take care of some of the marketplace orders. So my customers were suffering. My team, of course, because if the brand is being defocused, the team that was building it would also get impacted, was suffering. I thought as now the investors in the business and also somebody who built the business, that quadrant was also at a question mark level.
Yeah.
And as a founder, because the business was coming down, it was again coming down in the area where I operate the best, which is 0 to 1 and 1 to 10. So I thought I can't let that happen. I can't see this brand just die. I can't see the team who gave me, so much of love, blood, sweat, tears, to just wither away because, when companies shut down, it becomes, I think employees and vendors and everybody, they become the worst sufferers.
Yeah.
And at least I didn't want it for Sirona as a brand. So I spoke to my co-founder. I spoke to the core 3 people at Sirona, who I thought if they come back, we can build the business back. So Krishna, who looks at our marketplaces, Kishori, who looks at offline, and Anika, who looks at marketing. I spoke to these 3. They spoke to their teams. They all said they would love to, give it another shot if I come back. And hence I was hired again. I got a job. So we decided to buy the company back.
Yeah. So you've given yourself this term of a refounder.
Yes,
Would you like to tell us more about that?
Well, so it's funny, Anika, the marketing, she used to lead marketing. Now, of course, she's taking care of larger mandate at strategy and operations as we go forward in 2.0 journey.
Right.
So she's the one who said that, you were a founder earlier and then you went and now you're founding the company again. So you'd be refounder.
Refounder.
So that's why we coined this term refounder.
Yeah.
So I'm the refounder of Sirona with all of the other guys. It's actually them. I just get to be on the camera with good-looking people like you.
Thank you so much. So what you're one of the topmost angel investors in the country. So what are your learnings as an investor? Can you tell us about some of your investments and the principles based off which you make these big investments?
Smart question. But of course, I'm not one of the topmost. I think I'm an active angel investor. Till before Sirona, yes, I'd made a few investments. There are about 50, 60 of them. So my thesis is, I break them into three, like the Shakespearean theory of know thyself, know thy neighbor, and know thy neighborhood. So whoever I invest in, I try to pass them into these through these three lenses.
Right.
Know thy neighbor, number one. Whoever I'm investing in, it's very important for me to meet in person.
Yeah, of course.
I think a person, I don't know how to put it in better words, but I think the vibe is very important.
Yeah.
I should be able to trust you in the meeting,
100%.
and if I hit it off, and I think most of us are emotional beings who just rationalize the decisions that we make. We've all learned it. So I think for me, I have to meet the guy. And so that's first that I do. I definitely like to meet.
Yes.
Number two, the neighborhood. Know the neighborhood. Now, somebody who's built a business in D2C and Touchwood was able to get some incredible folks because of whom we were able to contribute to this category and build a little bit business. Know thy neighborhood is that I think I'm most comfortable with D2C as a category where I like to invest. And third is know thyself. So, it's important that I realize that, I'm good when I'm the first or the first round check, if I'm the first check, because that's where I'm able to add the maximum value.
Yeah.
Because I'm a 0 to 1 founder.
Yes.
So those three are the criteria, and some of the investments where I've been fairly lucky would be, I would say Petal is a very nice brand run by Aditya. There's Beanly, the founders, they're into coffee.
Yeah.
There is Ujjwal, who runs New Republic, very, very good founder again. And of course there's Trace, they're into women footwear. So on and so forth. There are 50 of them. So difficult to quote. But I think one thing that's common across the companies where I really admire the founders is they're all top class, top integrity founders who I think will give it whatever they have to ensure that they do the business the right way. Touchwood, that's been very important.
Yeah.
So those few, sir. You want more? I can give you more names.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so if you were to start off today as maybe a 17 or an 18-year-old boy, so which is the one space you would really like to explore and build in, considering everything going on in the world right now, all the current trends and everything?
Sir, I would say that, I think, I don't know as a 17-year-old, but I'd certainly say that if I were to not do Sirona, there are still many categories which I think are waiting for disruption in the country, because see, we are a brand deprived, has been said 100 times, nation as far as Indian brands are concerned.
I agree.
So there are many categories where I think some good work still needs to go in, like elder care is very, very interesting for me.
Yeah.
I believe that's one category where we are the youngest population, but very soon we'll also become a very fast aging population. So I think that's one category which is fairly exciting for me, and I would love to do something in that someday.
Yeah. So as you said, we're a very brand deprived country. So now Mr. Modi has imposed a lot of policies. Now a lot of companies have started making in India because of the Make in India policy. Like Boat also makes, I think, around 75% of their products in India. So what are your views on this?
I think that's the only way forward. I think all of us, with this whole standoff that recently happened, and China favoring standing with Pakistan, I think it is important for us to source all our products locally, and as a company, I think we are also trying our best to ensure that our dependence on nations outside our country comes down to the least. It'll take time, but it's a very welcome move. We need to look. That's the only way out here. We need to have this reliance on our own resources. The more we manufacture here, better it is.
Yeah. Now India's, there's a lot of homegrown brands such as Sirona, such as Boat.
So
there's so many MCure, There's so many homegrown brands, sugar. We just spoke about the Make in India policy.
Yeah.
So how does Sirona produce their products? Do they source them locally from
Sure.
India, or maybe from China? Where do they source their
So,
products from?
different products come from different places. For us, most of the products, earlier we had a very strong China dependence for our core products. Now we've been able to move most of them to factories in India.
Yeah.
And I think as we go along, the idea is to move, I think we'll try our best to move almost 100% of our products to India in the next 5 years. But I would say 70-80% of our products are made here only. So it's not too much of a...
So, there's a big trend of sustainability in the market these days. So how does Sirona look at ESG?
Well, I think early stage startups have it a little difficult, but for us, I think somewhere the nomenclature is keeps changing. But for us, community has been always at the core of our business. So we've had this foundation called Sirona Hygiene Foundation for almost 4 years. When it was not even mandated for us to have it, it's still not. So we've had a foundation where we'd work with the underprivileged girls, and we would, because you spoke about ESG, so community was one, and environment came in because of the product focus that we had. So we were always very, very pro menstrual cups, which is a silicone based product. It's an alternate for pads.
Okay.
So I think we were the first ones to start talking about at scale about the kind of transformation menstrual cups can bring in a woman's life. And while for her the answer is only convenience, for us the environment benefits the most, because pads, when they enter into landfills, they take decades and centuries to go away, while a menstrual cup, one cup can last you for 5 years, and then also it's just silicone.
Yeah.
So I think in most of the products we're trying to say that as far as environment is concerned, let's not use plastic. In the core products that we have, we're trying to understand how do we get after responsible how do we get into the end of life in a more responsible fashion? All of those are work in progress, but the foundation takes care of community. Product wise, the core products happen to be free of plastic, and whatever plastic we do produce, we ensure that our manufacturers and us have this thing called extended producer responsibility.
Okay.
We at least recycle that amount of plastic that we are taking.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So sir, you spoke about scalability. How do you think you scaled Sirona to be such a big brand in India, because it's like a household name now? So what do you think was a main what played a really big role for you to scale Sirona to become such a big, household name?
You're kind with your words, but I think we have miles to go. But I think the journey that we've covered, if I could say, what are the important, I think, building blocks, I think one of the biggest has been the team.
Yeah.
I think I've been just so lucky to have, and now also if you see, almost 80% of the guys are back. Almost 100% of the core guys are back.
Yeah.
And they are the ones who built it. Yeah. Honestly, our job as founders is to just, I think, just align them to what the vision is, to what we can see. And after that, let the passionate guys find their own ways to reach that end goal. So I think what worked for me in my case was that, when we were 50 people, it was just not Deep, Mohit and 48. It was 50 founders, working their way to ensure that Sirona achieves its mission of solving unaddressed feminine hygiene issues with unique products. So everybody is so empowered, and I think that's the reason why Sirona traveled whatever distance we were able to travel, through a lot of ups and downs, through thick and thin. So it's them. I think one biggest building block is if you can over-index on your team, you have it all going for yourself. I think products. I was just in a debate the other day where they were saying a good product or a good team, and I think any day a good team. A good team will figure out a product, and so on and so forth. A great product with a bad team, I don't know, it'll work.
Yeah. So, sir, it's about to be it's about to be a whole decade of Sirona.
Yes, sir.
So, what's in store for the next decade?
I think for me it's day zero, because we just bought the business back again after almost 18 months hiatus, at least at the operations level. So 2.0, I think, we are super excited, because I think I've got my energy back, Energy's team. So they are back, and I think our ambition is to say, let's identify more unaddressed issues along this timeline of puberty to menopause, and try to solve it with unique solutions. And I think that's what we are committed to. And I think in the past we've come up with very unique initiatives, like you would see
Yeah.
the vending machines at the airport,
Yes,
which is almost world's first vending machine of a kind to dispense all female hygiene,
Yes.
at least menstrual hygiene products.
Yes.
We came up with India's first period tracker.
Yeah.
The pepper spray brand that we've done so many India first and hence have been able to scale them, that I think there's no reason why I feel 2.0 or the next decade is going to be different. So you can expect some more touchwood new initiatives. Some of them will work, some of them won't, but we won't disappoint you. I'll
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, you won't, sir. So, can you tell us about some of the unaddressed issues you plan on solving in the future?
Well, I think there is enough. Yeah, I think there's so much within the sexual wellness category.
Yeah.
There is so much in the period wellness category. There is enough in the menopause category across the chart. Yeah, I think it's not about unaddressed, but it's about just saying let's talk more about these
Yes.
issues. The more we talk about it, we normalize it.
Yes.
And I think across the board, we still need a lot of dialogue around these categories and these issues.
Yeah.
And so I think across the line, puberty to menopause, everything is open.
Yeah.
So you will see us talking more about them.
Yes. So, have you ever received any feedback or anything that made you feel like, oh damn, I'm making like a big impact, or a line that you live by?
Yeah, sure. So, good question. So, I think I can say, so let me break it into two parts. One is the best advice that I've got and the line that I live by. I think the line that I live by, and I think I pretty much coined it, by the way, is if you're at it, you will crack it. Right. And I think a beautiful piece of advice that I tell all my young founder friends to live by is, you should have a list of energy vampires in your life. It is a concept that I learned from this monk called Dandapani in New York. And he spoke beautifully about, I happened to meet him once. And he said that, energy is like money. It's a finite resource, right? I mean, when you're out of energy, you die.
Course.
So he says, when you meet people, you should watch out for how you're feeling, right? There's some places you enter and you feel instantly energized.
Right.
There are some people you meet and you feel instantly energized,
Right.
and there's some people you meet you feel instantly drained.
Sure.
Right. So I think the best piece of advice was you should have a list of energy vampires in your life. Now, who are
Yeah.
energy vampires? They're people who you meet and you feel instantly drained out.
Yeah.
And it's so, the way he says it was so beautiful. He said, there are times when you won't even know that your closest people can be your energy vampires. It could be your dad, mom, sister, brother, co-founder, any team member who might not mean you're bad. It's just the way they say certain things, it just ticks you off, So the piece of advice was that if there are people that you can avoid, you just avoid. And the ones that you can't avoid, you should try to switch off. Whatever they're saying, don't react to it, respond to it. So I think that's such an interesting piece of advice that, if there are energy vampires in your life,
Sure.
just identify them and try to stay away.
Yes. Yes. And what is some advice you would give to, the youth and some entrepreneurs who are some aspiring entrepreneurs, what's that one thing they should stay away from?
Advice could be that have patience. Rome wasn't built in a day. I usually say there are 4 things that you should keep in mind if you're starting something afresh. One is it takes at least 1,000 days. So this show of yours, you keep it going for 1,000 days. Touch wood. It'll take off very well. You're a sincere kid. Second, of course, is I believe that one should stay too much away from analysis paralysis, especially when you're trying to do something new. If your gut feels it's right. Too much analysis paralysis will always be bad. Third, of course, I say that stay away from energy vampires.
Yes.
And 4 is it's a troublesome journey. It's a lonely journey for the first few years. So please have some good people you can go back to in bad days.
So, who are some people who you really look up to and who you maybe aspire to be one day?
I don't know. I think there's some people who've had their way of. So I think I genuinely admired Mr. Ratan Tata for his humility. I think I don't know if there's anybody who I regret not meeting, in the sense I couldn't meet him.
Yeah.
So that's one. Other than inspire, so many founders are doing such incredible work here.
Of course.
So all of them, I think all the Indian ecosystem founders have created good businesses. Dipinder at, of course, Zomato, Albi at Blinkit.
Yeah.
Aman at Boat, like you mentioned, Vinita, what she's doing at Sugar.
Yeah.
And of course, Shashank at The Whole Truth. The list is long. Sangeet at Mokobora. They're creating such interesting brands. Very, very inspired to look at, do what they're doing well. But in terms of, if I could be 1/10,000th in terms of what he was able to do would be Mr. Ratan Tata, for just the way he was.
Thank you for watching, everyone. It's been a great experience talking to Mr. Deep Bajaj today. I got a lot of knowledge and insights on Sirona and the startup industry, and I hope to talk again soon, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. You were brilliant. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words.